Okay, I'm chilling at the end of a really long day. I know it's Thursday morning when this got uploaded, but I went ahead and recorded it um, Wednesday night. Um, I hope you have a good day. I've had a long day, and I'm just sitting out on the front porch, kind of enjoying everything. Um, Let me get into it. You've probably heard me talk a lot about this battle going on between two mindsets, and that's a mindset of scarcity, which is there's not enough, the pie is only so big. There are other people who are coming to take a slice of the pie, and they'll probably take yours. And so people in power across the spectrum use fear and manipulation to get you to believe that you've got to be against a group of people. It's those people who are coming to get yours because there's only so much scarcity. And if you don't fight for yours, if you don't vote for me, if you don't send me money, then those people, people coming in over the border, those people out in the streets, those people who aren't like you, they're coming to get what you rightfully deserve, what's owed you. And all of that is basically just used to gain power, but it's based on this scarcity mindset. There's not enough. You've got to fight for yours if you want some. Obviously, on the other end of the spectrum is the abundance mindset. There's plenty. Um, it's not that there's not enough. It's we've got to control our appetite because for some people, there it feels like there's not enough because it's a bottomless hole. But in reality, the abundance mentality says there's everything that you need. There's no sense to create us and them, those people out there that are coming to get yours. There's plenty. The root of that is in what I've discovered in the parables of Jesus. Scott McKnight, who is a professor of New Testament, has written about the parables, and he starts each one of his understanding of the parables with this phrase that he imagines Jesus saying as he introduces the parable. Imagine a world where, Imagine a world where there's this great banquet. There's this wedding feast. There's this pearl treasure of great value. Imagine this father sitting on his porch waiting for his son to come home. Imagine this person who had been beaten up and left for dead. And so Jesus starts every one of his parables fighting against this scarcity mindset. I know you've been told this. I know you're afraid that there's not enough for you. I know that you believe that there's a group of people out there that if you don't stop them, control them, keep them where they're supposed to stay, that they'll come and get yours. But Jesus is saying, imagine a world where there was plenty. Nowhere is this seen than in a parable that none of us like, and we'll teach it, but we won't really incorporate it into our daily life. And that's the parable of the 11th hour. If you're not familiar with that parable, Jesus tells a story about a wealthy landowner who was hiring day workers. He drives by, Home Depot, picks up workers to work his land. And he goes by first thing in the morning, picks up a truckload and says, hey, would you be willing to work for this many wages? And they'd say, yes. Then he goes by again at noon and he picks up some more workers and said, would you be willing to work for this amount of money? And they said yes. And at the very end of the day, an hour before quitting time, the 11th hour, he hires workers and he says, would you be willing to work for this amount? And they said yes. Well, at the end of the day, when he's paying them all, those who've been working all day find out that those who only worked an hour got paid the same amount. Now, it's interesting because what we pay people is in the news today. And, and we react to this because it's not fair. And when we say it's not fair, what we mean is that person got more than I did. I deserve more. I've earned more. And it's out of that scarcity mindset. Why are those people getting the same amount that I did and I worked harder for mine? And we are all guilty of that. This speaks to me so powerfully. But what Jesus is saying is imagine a world that is so abundant that the Father can give whatever his heart desires. We see the same lesson about abundance in the parable of the prodigal son. The son goes and squanders everything. He comes home. The father is waiting for him. He celebrates. There's a big party. And what's the older brother's reaction? Why are you doing this? Don't you know what he did with your money? What your son did with your money? And he makes up a few things. And the dad says to his son, don't you know the entire time you've been here, everything I have is yours. There is an abundance. You don't have to create this story, this narrative that there's not enough and you're earning yours and that person's not earning theirs. And I'm trying to imagine, as Jesus would say, what the world would be like, what the church would look like, how we would heal divisions and disunity if we stopped reacting out of this scarcity mindset. Like I'm doing as much as I can so I can beat that person so I can have more than them. And just going, there's an abundance. There's not an enemy. There's not an us and them. There's not those people of color, those people coming over the border, however you want to describe them, that are coming to take mine, because they can come and there's plenty. What if we lived in that world that Jesus tried to tell us through parables? Stop living in a scarcity mindset. Live with an understanding that there's enough, there's plenty, there's an abundance. This is my goal and my dream for New Community, that we be a church that doesn't have to say, well, those people, and why aren't they like that? That we accept everyone, everywhere, and it doesn't matter your color, your race, your background, your spiritual journey, where you are in your relationship with God, your sexual orientation, your gender identification. None of that matters, because there's an abundance. There's a God who loves us where we are and then calls us into this life. That's what I want for our church, our community, our world. It is to stop living with there's only so much, us and them. There's plenty, and we are all us. Imagine that world. So that's your thought for Thursday. Sunday, we start a new series called Thrive, how to live a life, a flourishing, the abundant life. It's going to be a super practical series, whether you're a believer, whether you just watch us because you like us, you really like us. This is going to be something that you can really put into use. So we hope you join us Sunday. Children's area is open, student area is open. There's a lot of work that's been going on at the church. And so we hope to see you either in person or virtually. That's it. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great rest of the week. And we hope to see you Sunday. Take care.